Mississippi State fell to the Texas A&M Aggies 38-13. Find out what adjustments they'll need to make before heading to LSU next weekend.
I'm Megan McEwen. With the annual Trash and Show coming up, we'll take a look at some of the outfits.
It's time to cast your vote. The 2012 election will be held this Tuesday, November 6th. Who does the pre-election polls report as the front runner? And the Red Cross has received a flood of donations and helped many Hurricane Sandy victims. But their work isn't over. I'm Sarah Ulmer.
And I'm Candace Barnett. This past weekend, thousands came to Starkville for the annual Bulldog Bash. And next week, MSU students make trash and fashion. Also, the iPad Mini left even smaller numbers of debut buyers. But first, the presidential election, Take 30's top story. Campaigning draws to a close and the presidential race finally comes to an end this Tuesday, November 6th. As Election Day nears, President Barack Obama and Republican nominee Governor Mitt Romney are running neck and neck nationally, according to the final national NBC News and Wall Street Journal poll before the election. The poll reported President Obama possesses support from 48% of likely voters, while Governor Romney has 47%. For a list of voting locations in the Starkville area, visit www.oktibbeha.countyms.org. In Mississippi, all voting locations will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m.
A 99-year-old woman who has lived through 24 presidential elections chose this year's election to cast her first ballot. Rosie Lewis of Fort Myers, Florida, who received her ballot in the mail, got some help from a family friend to register and credits the election of President Obama in 2008 with inspiring her to cast her first vote. NBC2 reports her grandson, Nelson Lewis, said in regards to why she waited so long to vote, quote, "She was already set in her ways and wasn't really thinking about politics," he said. Rosie Lewis was 7 years old when the 19th Amendment was passed, which gave women the right to vote, and Lewis was in her 50s by the time Jim Crow laws were abolished.
Donations to the American Red Cross continue to help aid Hurricane Sandy victims. The agency reports to have received nearly $35 million as of early Friday morning. The Red Cross has been operating shelters and offering food, water, and relief supplies to areas struck hard by Sandy. However, the organization isn't done yet. Friday, November 8th, NBC is sponsoring a nationally televised fundraiser with names like Bruce Springsteen and Christina Aguilera that will solicit more donations. Runners put on a costume and braved the cold weather to come out and support a local charity last week. The 4th annual Bully 5K for United Way was held on MSU's campus. Campus departments worked together to organize the run. This year's run was held on a Tuesday night instead of a Saturday. The run was Halloween themed and featured a special award for best costume. United Way is a nationwide nonprofit organization that works in communities to identify problems and solutions. Their main focus includes education, income, and health.
United Way is an organization that I just feel really comfortable giving to. 99%, 99 cents out of every dollar stays right here in our local community, in our the counties that surround us, and it's just an organization I feel really good about doing this for. It's a good cause, and I think people realize that, and that's why they come out. So.
There are 1,200 United Way offices throughout the country, including right here in Starkville. Oktibbeha and Winston counties are both served by the United Way of North Central Mississippi. Visit unitedway.org to discover more about this network of charities.
After the break, Max Ryan will give us our Bulldog Sports update. Don't go anywhere. Take 30 News will be right back.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you.
Nope.
You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Whoa. Irresponsible. Trashy. Stop.
Here's your ticket, ma'am.
But I only have $7.95.
Don't whine. Go pay your fine.
Oh, shucks, I knew I shouldn't have done that.
Keep Mississippi beautiful. Don't litter.
The rainforest is home to nearly 2/3 of animal species, and almost half the medicines that we use come from rainforests. But by 2060, nearly all of our rainforests will be gone. So how do we stop it? One way is to recycle. At home, at work, at school. Recycle paper, cans, bottles, and more. Also, save energy by using cold water in the washing machine. Keep your car tuned up and carpool or use public transportation. And finally, spread the word to everyone you know about ways you can save our rainforests.
So Max, I hear this weekend was pretty big in college football.
Sarah, it was a huge weekend in college football. A lot of good matchups. LSU and Alabama, Notre Dame and Pitt, and of course, Mississippi State played Texas A&M. I'll give you the details coming up next. Before the season, many college football fans circled November 3rd on their calendars, the night the Alabama Crimson Tide will travel to Baton Rouge, Louisiana to take on the LSU Tigers in a rematch of last year's national championship game. The top-ranked Alabama team rose to the occasion. LSU took an early 3-0 lead with a 38-yard field goal from Drew Allman late in the first quarter. LSU did not score for the remainder of the half. Alabama responded with 8 minutes left in the second, with a 7-yard touchdown run from running back Eddie Lacy. Then with 11 seconds left in the half, A.J. McCarron ran the ball into the end zone from 9 yards out, putting his team up 14-3 going into halftime. Now in the third quarter, LSU came out fighting, holding Alabama to 2 straight 3-and-outs. Then after putting together a solid drive, freshman tailback Jerry Mahill punched the ball in from the 1-yard line, bringing the Tigers within 4. An Alabama fumble from true freshman running back T.J. Yeldon would lead to a touchdown pass from Zach Mettenberger to Jarvis Landry, putting the Tigers up 17-14. Then Alabama answered when Heisman hopeful A.J. McCarron put together a spectacular drive, leading to a touchdown pass off a screen play to Yeldon. The Crimson Tide went on to win 21-14. McCarron finished completing 14 passes for 165 yards and 1 touchdown. On to another undefeated team. Notre Dame is 9-0 for the first time since 1993. But to keep national title hopes alive, they had to get past Pittsburgh in a triple overtime game. The fans in South Bend were quiet heading into the fourth quarter when Pitt had a 20-6 lead. However, the Fighting Irish brought some life back into the stadium when Everett Golson threw a touchdown pass to T.J. Jones to put the Irish within 8. Then with 2 minutes left in the fourth, Golson struck again with another touchdown pass to Theo Riddick. They would convert the 2-point conversion to tie the game and send it into overtime. Now let's fast forward to the second overtime. Notre Dame at the 1-yard line hands off to Sierra Wood, and he fumbles at the goal line, giving Pitt a chance to knock off the undefeated Irish with a 33-yard field goal from Kevin Harper. He couldn't split the uprights, and Irish went on to win 29-26. Now on to Mississippi State sports. The Bulldogs hosted Texas A&M at Davis Wade Stadium, but Johnny Manziel and his high-powered offense was too much for the Dogs to handle, winning 38-13. Let's look at some of the highlights. Here late in the first quarter, Manziel hands the ball off to Christine Michael, and he's going to take it 22 yards to the house, putting them up 14-0. Now here early in the second, 3rd and 10, Manziel calls his own number and takes it in the end zone from 37 yards out. It's now 21-0. The Bulldogs' passing game was minimal, as well as the running game. Ladarius Perkins only had 13 carries for 42 yards. Coach Dan Mullen felt he was responsible for the team not being prepared.
We as a team played very, very poorly today. That's 100% my fault as the head football coach. That all falls on my shoulders.
Dan and the team will travel to Baton Rouge next week to take on LSU. The Mississippi State women's basketball team played an exhibition game against the Shorter University basketball team on Friday night. The 2012 Lady Bulldogs basketball season is ready to roll with new head coach Vic Schaefer. Two players MSU fans should look forward to watching are Carnisha Williams and Katia May.
I'll be happy with Carnisha. I mean, that kid's playing on a leg and a half, you know, and I was pleased with her. It was good to see Shemai out there. She hadn't practiced much. She's had coming back from a knee surgery, and so it was good to see her. I was really pleased with Katia and her energy. She had 5 turnovers at halftime and didn't turn it over in the second half.
Carnisha Williams was 6 of 12 in field goals and 1 of 2 in free throws. She had a total of 6 rebounds with 5 on defense and 1 on offense. She also scored 13 points total. Junior guard Katia May was 3 of 7 in field goals and 7 of 8 for free throws. She also had a total of 13 points scored. The Lady Bulldogs defeated the Shorter Hawks 55-49. The Bulldogs will begin the regular season Friday, November 9th against Houston, and that game will be in Starkville at 7 p.m. Well, that's a wrap on sports. After the break, hear about the festivities that brought over 40,000 people to Starkville, Mississippi.
In high school, you got away with it. But now, at Mississippi State, do the right thing. Obey the honor code.
It used to be about black and white.
Things are different now. We live in a world of color.
We no longer live in a world of black and white.
I am more than the color of my skin.
Video game addiction is not only seen in children, but also in adults. Video game addicts suffer depression, anger, anxiety, and withdrawing from friends and family. Put the controller down before you lose your friends, your family, and your life.
The annual Bulldog Bash took place Friday, November 2nd in the middle of the historic Cotton District. Take 30's Sarah Ulmer has more on the evening's events.
Mississippi State's annual Bulldog Bash is the largest free outdoor concert event in the state of Mississippi, according to their website. This event attracts nearly 35,000 people every year. Starkville businesses also benefit from this influx of visitors. Food and beverage vendors such as Dave's Dark Horse Tavern, Monster Energy Drink, and Chicken on a Stick are set up throughout the historic Cotton District. The Student Association is the organization responsible for planning an event of this magnitude. Donnie Banagry, the SA Attorney General at MSU, said that preparation for Bulldog Bash begins during the summer as executive members and 2 appointed directors work closely with advisors and Starkville residents to brainstorm a lineup that students will enjoy. SA anticipates at least 5,000 people in attendance for the multi-band concert. Here at Bulldog Bash, students and Starkville residents come out to hear their favorite band perform in the Cotton District. The music began at 6 o'clock with Battle of the Bands winner Surviving Allison kicking things off. Following after were Andy Grammer, Gloriana, and Eli Young Band. DJ Arch Nemesis DJ'd between sets. Headliner Eli Young Band was added to the list after former headliner Neon Trees dropped out.
I'm not gonna lie, at first when we heard that Neon Trees, backed out, we were all kind of nervous, but, it just goes to show, that we have such great leadership, with SA and even with all of our administrators, and it's really a blessing that we're able to find a band like Eli Young on such short notice.
Neon Trees canceled their college tour for what was claimed as personal reasons. However, many fans seemed pleased with the lineup change.
Definitely more excited that Eli Young Band was coming because I'm not the biggest fan of Neon Trees. It seemed like they just have kind of one popular song, but I'm a huge fan of Eli Young Band.
After the festivities were over, SA and volunteers began cleanup of this year's Bulldog Bash. I'm Sarah Ulmer with Take 30 News.
If you missed this year's activities, be sure to check out Bulldog Bash next year, sponsored by the Mississippi State Student Association. Surely the combination of this year's Bulldog Bash and our clocks falling back an hour, many locals are drinking extra coffee to start their week. Take 30's own Monique Gill has more about coffee and locals who can't get enough of it.
Every day, we face temptations, sweet delights, and cold treats. But there's no greater desire than people who crave caffeine. Approximately 90% of adults consume it on a daily basis.
I feel like I can't survive if I don't have my coffee. It always brings me peace. There's something about the warmth and not just the caffeine high, but it's the warmth of the coffee that makes you feel good.
Strange Brew, a local coffee shop, specializes in what caffeine chasers need.
I make coffee, espresso drinks, and everything else.
With the benefit of sharpening cognitive processes like math, memory, and organization, many people benefit from daily intake.
We have a lot of regulars that we know by name and have their drinks ready when they walk in.
Be mindful, coffee lovers. Get out, stay active, but raise your glass for another cup of Joe. This is Monique Gill for Take 30 News.
Students from Mississippi State's Architecture Department are likely drinking a lot of coffee as they prepare for one of their biggest projects. The 4th annual Trash and Show is coming up on Wednesday, November 7th in Giles Hall. Take 30's Megan McEwen has the story on how ordinary items have been transformed from shabby to chic.
Since 2009, NOMAS and the MSU Fashion Board have partnered to put together an annual trash and show that is held each fall. The designers are architecture students, many of whom have never even used a sewing machine until now. Each designer creates an outfit for a model on the runway, and most of the designs are made from some rather unusual materials.
We're doing actually a coat, and it'll have a long tail in the back, and it'll be out of clothespins. My mom has a ton of them, and so does her colleagues at work. So she collected a bunch of them for me.
One of the returning designers is using inspiration from his design last fall to create a dress out of paper towels and napkins.
Last year, I made a dress out of phone book, just using paper as material just to constantly make it better and better. It's kind of a process that I wanted to use.
The runway for the show will take place where I'm standing right now. 27 different design teams have prepared 30 outfits for 30 different models.
The purpose of Trash and Show is to raise awareness that things we use in everyday life that would normally end up in a landfill or another place can be reused.
Haley said the designers have worked harder than ever and put in hours of time to make the event a success.
So I'm really proud of everybody. They're putting in equal work, and they really are taking pride in the show this year.
The Trash and Show is a free event that begins at 7 p.m. and donations will be accepted. For Take 30 News, I'm Megan McEwen.
NOMAS will also be selling handcrafted items as part of their Junk to Funk sale in the Giles Hall Gallery prior to the Trash and Show. In other Mississippi State news, a Mississippi State University official proposed a policy revision that would stop tobacco use on campus by August 2014. Bill Kibler, MSU Vice President of Student Affairs, said his proposal is a culmination of work by a committee which studied national trends and examined other campuses' approaches to going tobacco-free. The purpose of the ban is to eliminate not only the impact of secondhand smoke, but also the pollution and littering that comes from the use of tobacco products. The proposal's current draft calls for an interim revision to the tobacco policy that designates specific areas for tobacco use near buildings. Local Spotlight has come to an end, but stay tuned to Take 30 to see the chaos animals are causing.
You ready to get tutti frutti? Ah! This must be my birthday! Oh no! It's the bat! You're going down. Please don't hurt! Don't litter.
Who would you leave behind? If you're struggling with suicidal thoughts, call the National Suicide Hotline.
This year, Mississippi welcomed the new organization, Drive Mississippi. The sole focus of the organization is to create better, safer roads for our state. The Drive Mississippi organization believes better roads lead to a better Mississippi. Not only do roads connect us to one another, but they keep commerce and opportunities flourishing throughout our state. And that is why Drive Mississippi is fighting for our sake to emphasize the importance of the development of better, safer roads.
It's important to inform the public that we may in the future not have the safe and dependable road system that we have if we don't do something now. Drive Mississippi is all about informing the public that orange barrels are not to be looked on as delays and problems, but need to be looked on as opportunity. Because each time you see these orange barrels, there's improvements taking place.
Drive Mississippi plans to make efforts to continually make improvements to our road system. The organization believes that by making even routine improvements, accidents will be much less likely.
A police helicopter went down in Atlanta, leaving 2 officers on board dead. Police Chief George Turner stated the chopper went down Saturday night around 10:30 and it fell in between 2 major roads in the city. The chopper was out searching for a missing 9-year-old boy when it crashed. Witnesses told CBS affiliates that they saw the chopper clip power lines, resulting in a blackout northwest of the crash site. The chopper was reported to be flying low to conduct a more thorough search. Both officers died of impact and there were no injuries on the ground. The missing boy was later found and is safe. An investigation is underway by the Federal Aviation Administration and the National Transportation Safety Board.
The city of Columbus opened a new sports complex in October of this year. Original plans for the facility included an additional restroom and concession stand. However, funding was short and the 2 buildings were not built. Due to the shortage, the city of Columbus and Lowndes County are considering contributing $100,000 each for the upgrades. Along with these additions, there will also be a coach's lounge. Lowndes County Board of Supervisors President Harry Sanders told the Commercial Dispatch that these upgrades are expected to cost around $200,000. These new facilities would provide restroom and concession access on both ends of the park. We'll have more when we return on Take 30 News.
Some people think they don't have to obey the rules. But when it comes to the rules here at Mississippi State, you better take notice. Don't think you're above the law, or they'll find you. Nope. You could find yourself on the outside looking in.
Ring responsibly, MSU.
Whoa! Irresponsible. Trashy. Stop!
Here's your ticket, ma'am.
But I only have $7.95.
Don't whine. Go pay your fine.
Oh, shucks, I knew I shouldn't have done that.
Keep Mississippi beautiful. Don't litter.
The rainforest is home to nearly 2/3 of animal species, and almost half the medicines that we use come from rainforests. But by 2060, nearly all of our rainforests will be gone. So how do we stop it? One way is to recycle. At home, at work, at school. Recycle paper, cans, bottles, and more. Also, save energy by using cold water in the washing machine. Keep your car tuned up and carpool or use public transportation. And finally, spread the word to everyone you know about ways you can save our rainforests.
Mirrored after the popular reality television show The Biggest Loser, The Biggest Loser Run Walk kicked off the weight loss journey for many throughout the state. The Biggest Loser race was a 5K, 15K held on November 3rd, 2012 in downtown Jackson. The race attracted hundreds of participants dedicated to healthier living. Along with the race, the event included a kids challenge race, celebrity appearances from past Biggest Loser reality star competitors, and live entertainment at the Finish Line Festival. The mission of the event was to help thousands of people complete their fitness goals.
A woman in Irvine, California is requesting a memorial to honor the loss of thousands of lives of fish. On October 11th, a container truck hauling 1,600 pounds of saltwater bass got into a three-way collision. All of the fish being carried were killed. Dinah Corda, a local volunteer with the People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, wanted to remind drivers that animals, quote, value their lives and feel pain. So she wrote to the head of street maintenance to request a sign at that intersection. An Irvine spokesman says no memorial is being planned.
Thanks for joining us. That is all the time we have. We hope you will join us again. We will be bringing you more news, sports, and entertainment directly to your television. I'm Sarah Ulmer. Thank you for making Take 30 News your choice.
And I'm Candace Barnett. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube page, all at Take 30 News. Until next time, this has been Take 30 News.